Hello everyone, welcome back to my channel. I have not posted in about 3 months and there's a very good reason for that. Honestly, I was not planning on taking a break, but I was going through a lot and I didn't have inspiration to post and I didn't want to post just to post, so I took a break and I'm sorry I didn't say anything or, give you guys the heads up on that, but it was a very much needed break and I will probably dive into that a little bit more at the end of the video of what the trajectory of my channel is going to look like moving forward. But for right now, I think it's important to address something that has recently happened in my life, which is my divorce. I don't want to go into too many details in this video out of respect for both mine and my ex's privacy. We are both on the internet and I want to preface this by saying please do not send hate to him. We did end up posting a video at one point talking about a problem that we were dealing with, and then we started to get people's opinions on that video. If you don't have anything nice to say, don't say it at all. That's my little favorite quote from Bambi. That said, I'm going to talk about what I can talk about and what I feel comfortable with sharing. If I ever feel comfortable sharing anything else, maybe I will, but for right now, this is what it's gonna be. Honestly, I know this may have came as a shock to a lot of you, but I have been wanting a divorce for a very long time. I didn't want to admit it to myself. I have been thinking about it for a couple of years, if I'm being completely honest. When we first moved to Orlando is when we started talking about divorce, actually. I would always bring it up to him at certain points and it never happened, but he kind of always knew that I was thinking about it, and it wasn't necessarily a surprise to us, but I know it was probably a surprise to you guys. It's kind of difficult to talk about without sharing too many details. I also tried to film this video 2 other times, so hopefully 3 times it's the charm, because the first video was a mess and then the second video was just way too surface level. I'm trying to do like a happy medium of, not sharing too much, but also being vulnerable with you guys and sharing how I feel. So hopefully this is the last time I'm filming this, but yeah, I'm sorry if I seem all over the place. I'm just trying to gather my thoughts and be able to express them in a respectful way. So I was thinking about divorce for a while, but I didn't know if thinking about divorce that often was normal. I even Google searched so many times, is it normal to think about divorce? And Google said yes, but I didn't realize the amount I was thinking about divorce was kind of concerning. And so I ended up going to therapy and I explained to her everything that was going on, and she pretty much told me yeah girl, it's clear that you want a divorce and you probably should get divorced. Yeah, I'm really grateful that I went to therapy because for a long time I didn't want to go to therapy because I had really bad experiences with therapists, but I actually didn't know why I was going to therapy. I didn't think that I was going to talk to her about wanting a divorce, and it ended up being literally that the whole time I went to therapy. I ended up paying $1,000 for a certain amount of sessions, and it's really interesting because throughout that span of time was me talking to her about this situation and coming to the conclusion of getting divorced, and she's been kind of walking me through that a little bit and being there for me for support. So I'm really grateful for that, because if I did not have somebody to talk to, I don't know if I would have ever came to this conclusion, and I was having a difficult time trusting myself. I barely ever talked to my friends about the problems that I had with my ex, so a lot of the times I would internalize things. There was a lot of cultural differences, so I was under the impression that almost everything we went through was a culture difference, and I don't think it was, but I was under that impression. That's why it was so difficult for me to make the decision to divorce, because I didn't want to disrespect the way someone's culture is, and I wanted to compromise, but at the same time those compromises were way too big for my set of values and standards, and I think that I had to minimize my standards in order to accommodate that. Yeah, I don't think it was a culture difference. Now looking back at it, I think some things were, but for the majority it wasn't. So that's why it took me so long. It was 2 years of me thinking about this, and yeah, that's why it took me so long, was because some of the times I was thinking I was the problem, and I don't know how to explain it, but I guess I just never had an outside opinion tell me things until I went to therapy, and then my therapist was like, yeah, this is not normal. Once I went to therapy, I was able to trust myself a little bit more and come back to myself and come back to my standards. And one of the reasons also was because I felt a sense of responsibility for my ex in various different ways. He is from a foreign country. I don't want to dive too deep into that, but I did feel a sense of responsibility. That is one of the reasons why I didn't divorce him sooner. I am going to address the video that we posted on Haruki's channel. If you haven't seen it, I would suggest you don't watch it. I was not in the greatest headspace to post a video like that. And this was supposed to be just a life update video. I think it was like from 3 months ago. And we ended up talking about my brother passing away and how my ex wasn't there for me. This is something that I'm currently still processing, so I'm sorry if it seems like I'm not opening up too much about this. I just don't want to talk from a unhealed place. So not necessarily unhealed, but I don't want to speak from a hurt and triggered place. I'm going to talk lightly of this situation kind of. But I do want to share with you how I came to the conclusion of divorcing him. So before we ended up posting that, I was in my bathroom crying, praying to God. And I typically don't pray to God out of desperation. Whenever I pray to him, it's normally from gratitude and just like thanks. But I was extremely desperate at this point because I wasn't sure if I was going to be making the right decision. And I was praying to God to give me a sign so big to where I can't ignore it if I needed to divorce my husband. That video was posted, and this was the biggest sign that I have ever received from God. And almost every single person who watched that video was saying to divorce. I will be honest, when that video was posted, I thought I was gonna get a lot of hate. A lot of the videos that we posted on his channel, I felt like I was gonna get a lot of hate for because I am a foreigner, and also there's a lot of things that I thought were cultural differences. I didn't think that many people would be able to relate to the way that I view things in the world and the way that I go about life. So a lot of the videos that we have ever posted, I was scared I was gonna get hate for, or I was nervous I was gonna get hate for. And this particular video, I thought that I was gonna be the one to get the hate on it because I just thought that everything was a culture difference. I'm grateful for the comments. However, I do notice that a lot of them were very harsh, and something that I do not condone is hating on somebody. I will accept constructive criticism, but as far as hating on somebody, I don't agree with that. So I just wanted to say that. In a way, I am very grateful that that video was posted. I do think a video like that should not have been posted, but it was, and I'm grateful it was because it did lead to the divorce. It wasn't the reason for the divorce, but it was the wake-up call for the divorce. And for that, I'm really grateful. That was the biggest sign from God that I have ever had. I knew at my core at that point that this was something I can't ignore, and I asked for that sign, and that was it. And there was no going back and forth with God of saying, but what if this or what if that? Because that's something I used to do a lot whenever God would give me signs, but this was a lot different. And I knew that my decision had to be made, and I then made that decision. It did take me like a month or two. I will say I will not be speaking on the reason for the divorce in honor of my ex's privacy, and also because I am still very hurt and I don't want to speak from a triggered or unhealed place. Please respect my wishes of keeping that private, and please do not try to come up with your own reasonings. I will say that we both were faithful until the end. There was no infidelity, and at least on my end and to my knowledge, he never cheated. So I don't want anybody to come up with their assumptions. That was not something that happened to my knowledge. So I will say that. But yeah, please respect my wishes for not wanting to share the reason. It is very difficult because we both do share our lives on the internet. That is something that we both have to navigate around. There are some things that shouldn't be shared on the internet, and some things that should only be talked about in therapy or with close friends. So we had actually broken up on July 27th. I do remember dates like crazy. That's like a fun fact about me, is I remember exactly when things happen usually. So I know that may be a little weird, but yeah, I'm very good with dates. Yeah, so we had broken up on July 27th, and the next day we both were not doing so well emotionally, and he had come home and said that he didn't want to live without me and all these different things, and we got back together. So we were broken up for literally like probably less than 12 hours, just like overnight into the next day. That was not something we had ever done in our relationship. We had stayed together the whole entire way through, except for that. It was never like an on and off thing. We had never broken up until then, but we did break up once and then got back together. And then on August 6th is when I told him that I wanted the divorce. I just couldn't hold it in any longer. And I think the reason we got back together is just because neither of us was able to handle our emotions, and it was very difficult living together and being broken up at first. So not proud of that, but we did end up getting back together, and I told him on August 6th that I wanted a divorce. So I think now I'm gonna talk about how I'm feeling. Honestly, I feel like my world has kind of flipped upside down in a way. I feel better now, but at first it was very scary because it felt like the whole trajectory of my life had changed. I was with my ex for 5.5 years, and we were married for 3 years. And well, we were married for almost 3 years. I broke up with him right before our anniversary because I could not see us going through another anniversary with me feeling like this, and I didn't want to hide that from him, so I decided to break it off before our anniversary. Well, I'm turning 26 years old. By the time you see this, I'll probably already be 26. My birthday's coming up. I wanted kids. I started wanting kids, and I think it was more of a biological feeling that I wanted kids. I started preparing myself to have children, and by preparing, I mean eating a lot healthier, getting my hormones balanced, doing a lot of shadow work and healing myself because I don't want to bring certain traumas to my children. I wanted to prepare myself and my body to have children. My outlook on having children is to spread more love in the world. On a biological level, I wanted to have children, but I didn't want to have children with him for various different reasons, and that is one of the epiphanies that I had, that okay, this relationship is not right, because if you don't want to have kids with someone, that's kind of a sign that probably shouldn't be together. Yeah, and that was one of the reasons why I wanted to stop doing 50-50 in our relationship as well, was because I wanted children, but that just didn't work out, and for good reason. I do want to address the fact that like some people in the comment section was saying, oh, if you have kids, like it'll be better. I'm sorry, that makes absolutely no sense. I would absolutely never, ever, ever have children with somebody that I'm not getting along with. I did touch on my theory as to why me and Haruki were in this relationship. At least from my end, I did not realize this until after we broke up. I was doing some shadow work and trying to figure out why I attracted him into my life. I think the root cause of it, and again, this was not consciously, but from my subconscious unhealed space, I attracted him into my life because he was emotionally unavailable, and I had emotionally unavailable parents growing up, and I love my parents to pieces, but yeah, that is something I had to go through. So I think that I was seeking that validation, approval, and love from a partner, and what I wanted was the emotional availability. Subconsciously, I attracted someone without that, and I tried to change him, and I tried to fix him, and I tried to get him to love me in the way that I wanted to be loved, and it just wasn't going to work. And then finally, I was literally looking in the mirror crying, and I realized I cannot change anybody, and nobody will change for me. That is when I realized that I had to accept him for who he was. After I accepted him for who he was, I then was no longer able to accept him into my life. And that was a really pivotal point for me because it actually showed me unconditional love rather than conditional love. And I started to understand the difference between the two. And throughout our whole relationship, both of us did not have unconditional love for each other. And that's not something I'm proud of, but it's something that subconsciously happened. And I'm grateful that now I can realize that and work on myself and have self-love for me. That way, whenever I do have a partner in the future, it will be from a place of feeling whole and complete and not needing anybody to make me feel good enough. I'm grateful for that lesson, and again, it's not something that I'm proud of, but I do want to be completely open and honest with that, because maybe somebody out there can relate, or maybe they're going through something similar, and I just wanted to share that because it might be helpful. With how I'm feeling, I will be completely honest. I've been feeling good, but at the same time, I'm going through a lot of emotions and waves of feeling hurt, very upset and angry, and you know, I'm just feeling all of the emotions right now. I also feel really good. I mean, I have not been single at all in my 20s, and this is a new era for me, so I'm really excited. I am not going to be dating anyone anytime soon. This time is for me and for me only, and I am so excited to go on this journey and just be with myself, and I'm just so grateful to be with myself. Right now, Haruki is not here. We do still share the apartment because both of our names are on the lease until March. We did not move into this apartment thinking that we were going to break up, so this is more of a luxury apartment and it is more expensive. I didn't think that I would need to pay for this on my own at any point, so I am currently working on my business and also seeing if I can make enough money so that he can move out. I don't know necessarily where he will go. Hopefully we don't have to live together until March, because I feel like that's just weird. We are cordial. I know some people are thinking that we are going to remain friends, and I'm sorry to break it to you, but that's not going to happen. I had to come to that conclusion with the things that I went through with him. Do I still want to be friends with somebody who did those things? No, we are not friends. I do wish him the absolute best, and I still have love in my heart for him, but we will not be friends moving forward. We are cordial because we do live together, but yeah, he's currently not here now. I have the apartment to myself for a month. He went back to Japan for a month and he'll be coming back soon. We're technically not even divorced yet. We did break up, but the paperwork has not been filed yet, so hopefully that will be filed when he gets back. It was very difficult. I think I'm better now because I see my future a lot differently now. For a while, my life was just upside down and I was like, oh my God, I'm 25 years old. I need to have kids like now. Which I'm still so young, so I don't know why I was thinking that, but I think it's just like the societal pressure maybe. I biologically was wanting to have kids, and to have my life flipped upside down and have a totally different path for myself is exciting, but also very different because it wasn't what I thought was going to happen. I have not given up on love. I think that I will definitely approach dating a lot differently now. I'm not dating anytime soon, but I will be a lot different when it comes to that, and I'm grateful for that. Right now I'm just working on myself. Eventually I do want to get married, and eventually I do want to have children. I know that whoever I marry will be the one for me. They will be exactly what I value in a partner. I don't think I will ever look for somebody, but I know that God will put somebody in my life when it's the right time. I know that some people, when they get out of relationships, they date and they hook up and stuff like that, but I'm not that type of person. And for some reason, I feel in my core that like the next person I'm with will be the person I'm with for the rest of my life. I don't know why, I just have that feeling. Maybe or maybe not, and I'm not gonna hold on to that. I date for long term, I don't date for short-term pleasure. So that's why right now I'm just focusing on myself, and I know that I'm being prepared for the man of my dreams and the life of my dreams. Yeah, right now I'm focusing on me, my business, and my business is like my baby, so I need to nurture my baby, and yeah. But yeah, I'm really excited to just live life and see what my future has to hold. I feel a lot more excited now, and honestly I'm so happy I did not have children. Like I'm only 25, and I'm very grateful that my biological Census did not get to me too much. So for the end of this video, I'm going to do a Q&A, and after the Q&A, I will talk to you about the future of my channel. I did ask you guys questions on Instagram. I'm gonna answer those right now. I will not be answering any of them about the divorce. I'm so sorry, because I already talked about what I feel comfortable talking about, and I don't want a question to entice me to speak more on it when I feel that what needed to be said was said. Someone asked, where am I living now? I'm living in the same place, and I live in Orlando. Someone asked, what are you doing for the holidays? So I am actually planning to go to New York with my family. This is my first year without my brother, so I thought that it is probably a very good thing for me to go up there. Sometimes I do spend the holidays with them, sometimes I don't. By holidays, I mean Christmas, and then after that, I kind of want to be here because they do fireworks over the lake and I can see it from my window. So I want to be here for New Year's, but I will be with my family for Christmas. Not sure about Thanksgiving. I don't know if I'm necessarily celebrating that this year. Some years I do, some years I don't. It's just not necessarily a holiday that I celebrate traditionally. But as far as Christmas, I will be with my family, and I'm bringing my cats up there as well. I just thought that it would probably be weird to be in the same apartment with my ex if we are still living together, and it's probably best for me to be with my family during that time since it's also the first year without my brother. Someone said, you are so beautiful. I want to know what skincare products you use. Thank you so much. And I will tell you what skincare products I use, but I will say that my clear skin is a result from my diet and eating very clean. For the most part, I only eat organic and I eat very healthy. If I go out to eat or something, sometimes I do have something that's not organic or something with artificial sugar, but for the most part, I eat very clean, so that's why most of the time I have clear skin, and if I do end up with acne, it's either due to stress or it's due to eating artificial sugar. But I use La Roche-Posay face wash, and then I also use Laneige lip mask, and I use Pharmacy green moisturizer. I don't know if that's the exact name of it, but yeah, that's what I use. But I don't attribute my clear skin to those products. I attribute it to my eating habits. What do you think is more important to get, marriage, money, or love? Definitely love, because you can cultivate that within yourself, and you can feel self-love and you can have love for others, and marriage and money is just a result from you feeling the love within yourself. So definitely love. What is your favorite movie? So my favorite movie is definitely the 2 Avatar movies. I absolutely love those. I actually also love Inside Out 2. I watched that not too long ago. And I grew up on the Fast and Furious movies, so I will always have love for those movies in my heart, but I don't really watch action movies too much anymore. I still love those movies. This is the last question. The majority of the questions were about the divorce, so I'm sorry I'm not answering those. Someone asked, where can I watch your podcast? So I'm going to address this really quick because I'm not promoting my podcast. I would like to grow it organically, and the reason for this is because being on social media with also Haruki's audience, this channel that you're watching this on right now has a somewhat large Japanese audience. I don't want it to sound bad when I say this, but it actually kind of hindered my growth on social media, because the way that YouTube works is by watch time. If somebody is watching my video and they don't understand what I'm saying, the watch time is very low. So if somebody speaks a different language like Japanese and they don't understand what I'm saying, they're most likely not going to watch the whole video. Okay, sorry if the angle is different. My battery died, so I had to charge it. But what I was saying is, when I first started dating my ex, I got a lot of Japanese subscribers, and with the way that YouTube works, if your subscribers don't click on the video, then it doesn't really get pushed out too much, and if your watch time is low, then it also doesn't get pushed out too much. And the reason why I believe my watch time was low for a while was because if people can't understand English, then they're not going to watch the whole video. It kind of took a toll on my channel, and I wasn't getting as many views. I've really tried to push through with creating videos, but knowing that my audience is not necessarily my target audience makes it kind of difficult. I do have American subscribers and other subscribers from all over the world, but a good half of it is Japanese, so that plays a huge role in my growth on my channel. That is why I'm not publicly sharing my podcast, because I want to grow it from the ground up. I don't want the watch time to be hindered again and then just stuck at a wall and not be able to grow it. So I'm growing it as organically as possible through the YouTube algorithm. And if you are interested in it, there is a way that you can watch it. So if you go to my Instagram, this is the way I'm doing this, so that it's more of like people who really do want to watch it versus people who are just kind of nosy and trying to see what I'm up to. If you really do want to watch it, I'm not gatekeeping it from anybody. In fact, like, I really do want people to watch it because I feel like there's a lot of valuable information in the podcast. So the way that you can do this is I have a couple of different videos on my Instagram, and my Instagram is @higherself.activation. And if you comment the word podcast on a video where I tell you to comment the word podcast, then I will send you the link to the podcast episode, and that is how you can watch it. Other than that, I'm not promoting it. So I hope you can understand that, and I don't want that to come across as like rude or bad, but at the same time, I would like to see growth with that podcast, and I don't want to be doing it for absolutely no reason. If people aren't watching it, then my growth gets hindered, and then there's no reason for me to do it. It is really frustrating to like make a video and not have people understand what I'm saying or it be pushed out to anybody else. Also, especially with this channel, because I am going to be posting more videos on here, if you do like to support this channel, it would mean the absolute world to me if you can engage with my content because of this. Like, subscribe, comment, and even share would be amazing. So yeah, thank you so much. I'm gonna talk about the trajectory of my channel now, and I actually was going to quit YouTube, and I came to the decision of quitting this YouTube channel, but recently I decided something else. So the reason why I wanted to quit was because I was focusing on my podcast and I was focusing on my coaching business, and those are my main priorities, is my podcast and my coaching business. And I think I needed to take a break from YouTube in order to focus on those things. And so I am going to be uploading on here, but it's not going to be what I used to upload. If you notice, I did change the name of this channel. It is no longer Kayla.Anoku because my last name is not going to be Anoku for very long. That was my ex-husband's last name. So I'm not going to use that last name anymore, and I've decided to name this channel Higher Self Vlogs, and that's because I got a download while I was meditating to do this. Pretty much what this channel is going to consist of is days in my life, morning routine, night routine, like things of that nature to show you my lifestyle, because I absolutely love my life and I want to share it with you guys because I feel like it might be able to bring some inspiration to live a healthy lifestyle and to bring wellness into your life. So that's what I'm going to be sharing on this channel. I'm not sure of a consistent posting schedule because, like I said, I am more focused on my coaching business and my podcast, but I'll try to upload as much as I can on here. And like I said, I'm not sure how often I'll be posting. I might be posting once a month, twice a month, 4 times a month. I'm not sure. But yeah, that's what this channel is going to be. If you don't resonate with that, please do me the absolute best favor in the world and unsubscribe. If you do fuck with that type of content, feel free to subscribe to my channel if you're not already. And I'm really excited to go on this journey of showing you what my higher self does on a daily basis, because the way that I live my life is always asking myself, what would my higher self do? And that's kind of my motto through life, is what would my higher self do in this situation? That's what I'll be sharing in the next videos. And other than that, you can see my content on Instagram as well. And yeah, the links to everything will be down below. I also offer meditations. I think that concludes today's video. Again, I know that this divorce was probably a shock to a lot of you guys, but I saw it coming for a really long time, and I think he did as well. And this was not anything new for either of us. So I'm really excited for my future, and I am very, very happy in the present moment. I do have my ups and downs, and I do go through moments of feeling sadness and grief and just all of the emotions, because I'm still processing my brother's death. I'm still processing the fact that I didn't really have anybody there for me for my brother's death. And I'm also processing some other things along with the divorce. So this year has been a pretty rough year for me, but I am very proud of myself with the way that I've dealt with it, because in the past, I probably would have drank alcohol, smoked, did drugs, and I have not done any of that. I have not even touched alcohol since February, and that was Valentine's Day, which I didn't really want to drink then, but I did end up drinking. I have sat with shrooms before my brother passed away, but I haven't done any plant medicine since then, and I don't look at that as drugs anyway. I look at that as a teaching tool. I am very proud of myself that I am using really good coping mechanisms for this. I'm meditating, I'm doing breath work, I'm allowing my emotions to come out in a really healthy way, and I'm just sitting with the emotions when they come up, and I'm not suppressing them. That is something I'm really proud of, is not falling back into really old patterns and damaging myself further. So thank you so much for watching today's video. Thank you so much for your support. It really means the world to me, and I wish my ex-husband the absolute best in life. And I really hope that he learns the lessons that he needed to learn. Maybe I'll see him in another life when we need to learn from each other again. Again, thank you so much for watching, and I will see you in the next one. Bye.